Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of podcast Field Goals and Forecast presented by Afterthought Sports, now on WSBU 88.3 FM The Buzz. You can listen to us from 4 to 5 p.m. on Tuesdays live at WSBUFM.com on the live player. I'm Ryan Adio. Alongside me, my great co-host, James Derrick. We're deep into the offseason now. We're starting to get, to the good part. Free agency is starting to really set in. We're getting a lot of moves, a lot of trades. Stuff's happening, and we're also starting to get close to the draft. Mm-hmm. And I think this is one of the more fun times of the year.
Yeah, it's officially fun time, right? We were covering the offseason when, trades still couldn't technically go through, and, there is really just a lot of rumors and this or that. But, hey, now we're at the part where some trades have happened and some other crazy things. So maybe we'll have some thoughtful analysis on that, if you'd like to call it that.
Yeah.
Not a lot of brain cells combined in this room right now.
No thoughts. I don't know if it's thoughtful, but it's definitely analysis.
Yeah,
that's one of the things you could say. But we have been gone for a couple of weeks. Good to be back in here. But during that time, a lot of stuff has really happened, especially with the Buffalo Bills, who we like to talk about, especially during the season. And now that they're actually making moves. And the biggest move since we've been gone, we found out about this while we were in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. The Bills have traded for DJ Moore. They finally get that receiver they've been looking for, the receiver everybody wants them to get. I think that's a fair assessment. I don't know how many other receivers you could have really got on the market, and we got him for about a second-round pick. We got a fifth-round back. Mm-hmm. What's your thought just on the value of that trade?
Well, I want to say, first of all, I was a little bit swindled because Schefter originally reported like mid-round pick, right? Mm-hmm. Isn't that what he said?
Yes.
And I was thinking like third or fourth, and I'm like, wow, what a steal. This is great.
Right.
This is awesome. But, it comes out that it's a second and we get a fifth back, which I understand that kind of takes on some of it. But I don't know. I wasn't thrilled to see it ended up being a second, but DJ Moore, still in the prime of his career pretty much, if not getting towards the tail end of it, and someone who I would imagine fits in well with this Buffalo offense.
It's about the same as when we traded for Diggs, except we didn't give up a first-round pick. So I'm perfectly okay with that. He has 8,000 receiving yards in his career. He's played all 17 games in the last 5 seasons. He played with Joe Brady back in 2020 and 2021 when he was the OC in Carolina. He had 1,100 yards in those 2 seasons with 8 touchdowns. He has the 5th most receiving yards against man coverage, according to Next Gen Stats, since 2023. Is this the receiver I guess you thought we would get, but also maybe in terms of value, where does DJ Moore land for you? Do you think we could have done better? Do you think we could have done worse? Is there still more work to do?
See, that's the important thing is I think there should be some more work to be done. We don't need, I say we as in the Bills. Yes. I always do that, guys. You're going to have to bear with me.
Unlucky,
but if you're going to get DJ Moore, I think maybe there's one more move to take place. You don't need a receiver better than DJ Moore, but maybe just someone else to come on and help out. Think about how injured that receiver room was come playoff time. Just so many guys who couldn't be on the field, and you want some depth there for sure to learn your lesson from last year. But to touch on the thing you said about him playing with Joe Brady, I think that makes a phenomenal fit. He had an 18.1 yards per catch season with a Joe Brady offense in 2020. So I think that's something that we're going to try to reinvigorate in him, and I think DJ Moore has all the talent in the world to be able to replicate that kind of a season because he's still in some of the better years of his career at this point. Even
I think he's 28 age wise, but I think he fits the scheme of the Bills extremely well. I mean, he's definitely going to be your wide receiver one, but in terms of what we like to run, those short passes, screen passes, tight end screen with an option to DJ Moore on the right, RPO. That's your guy. I mean, DJ Moore is extremely good at the yards after catch, deep ball guy as well. I'm excited to see how they utilize him, and I think we went after him specifically because he fits our scheme so well, and also he was looking to get off the Bears, I think, and the Bears are ready to move forward with Rome Odunze. Interesting to see what goes on there as well, but
even Luther Burden had a pretty solid season, so plenty of reason for the Bears to move on, especially from the contract as well. So a lot of money to get off the books for the Bears too. I think it's actually arguably an even better move for the
Yeah,
Bears to get a draft pick, get this contract off the books and all that. But the Bills get something they desperately needed in a wide receiver like DJ Moore.
Yeah, get the wide receiver. Some other moves that they made: Mitch Wishnowsky, the punter; Geno Stone, safety from the Bengals. I think that's a pretty solid move. Good backup maybe, or like a rotational guy. Kyle Allen is now the backup quarterback. CJ Gardner-Johnson, 1 year, $6 million deal from the Bears. I know you got some stuff to say about that, so we'll hold on for later. D. Alford, the nickel corner from the Falcons, 3 years, $16 million. As a Falcons fan, I'm not a huge fan of it. As a Bills fan as well, it's kind of a hard thing to say. I didn't like what I saw out of D. Alford last year. If you look up D. Alford, Justin Jefferson, you can kind of make your own assumptions there. He has like one good play for every 8 bad plays. That's kind of what I'll say.
Maybe he can come to the Bills and just flip a switch.
Yeah, and if he's a rotational guy, I mean, whatever. I don't know how often we're using the nickel corner now. And then the big one, I think, biggest free agent move, I would say, Bradley Chubb, the outside linebacker, defensive end, previously with the Dolphins. 3 years, $43.5 million. It's a lot of money thrown at a guy who has some injury concerns. What are your thoughts on that move, just as a Bills fan and in general?
I think it kind of goes against what the Bills typically do, and that's try to prioritize getting some guys that are going to stay on the field. And this is just the opposite of that. Bradley Chubb has done anything but play football. And, this is really nothing against him. He's just had some bad luck. He's gotten hurt. We'll see how much guaranteed money he ends up making. Like how much money does he end up getting from this $43.5 million over 3 years? But I think overall it's solid, but it's still, again, in terms of wanting a difference maker on the defensive end, Bradley Chubb is not going to be the guy that comes in and just totally fixes the problem with getting to the quarterback or, fixing the pass rush. So it's like kind of a half move, and, we'll see how it works out. I'm gonna try to have faith and be a good fan, but it's also kind of like, well, still waiting for somebody to be that star player on the defensive line there.
The Bills have a new defensive coordinator, Jim Leonhard. I don't know if I'm saying that right, whatever. He moved from a 4-3 to a 3-4, so you're going to see a lot more linebackers, outside linebackers, and I think Chubb is one of the better right side outside linebackers. He's definitely an on-ball linebacker. Mm-hmm. He's playing defensive end, basically, just from a linebacker spot. If I'm trying to make it as easy for people to understand as possible. But basically, you move to 4 linebackers. And we don't have those linebackers. Let me make that very clear.
That's like the one thing that we haven't made a move for all offseason yet, which is a little alarming.
And that's also why the Bills cut Taron Johnson, the nickel corner, who I still don't like the move, but I understand why it happened. We cleared up some cap space, traded him to the Raiders, technically. Whatever. They cut Taylor Rapp. Cut Curtis Samuel, which is a bit disappointing because DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel played together under Joe Brady back in the day. They were friends, whatever. I mean, you're not going to keep someone because they're friends unless you're Dawson Knox, because then you get a 3-year, $20 million deal to be Josh Allen's best friend. Not the point. It saves them some money. Best job in the league by far. I don't even remember what I was talking about, but we need linebackers. So that begs my next question. Who would you like the Bills to go and sign next?
Well, I don't know. There's a couple of guys out there. I mean, this is what sucks, and he's already off the market. He's a phenomenal middle linebacker. Devin Lloyd is off the market, and that was a guy that I just had circled and would just be like, all right, in my dreams.
That's a game changer.
That would have been awesome. That would have been like the signing of the offseason. That's kind of the guy that I think could have taken this defense and kind of transformed it next season, where I'd actually feel good about it. I don't know. Is there any other guys that you're just thinking Bills are going to need?
So I kind of have a small list here. You need linebacker. So you can go and get a guy like Bobby Okereke, was just with the Giants. Yeah. There's a bit of a pipeline there. Bills to Giants to Panthers, somewhere. They're all just...
It's a family.
If you play for one, you're going to play for the other at some point. Logan Wilson has some upside, previously with the Cowboys, then with the Bengals, before that. And he was pretty good on the Bengals. Didn't make the same impact on the Cowboys, but still a lot of upside. Kenneth Murray, another guy that came from the Cowboys, high upside, could be that outside linebacker as well. You're going to need to go and get a guard, I think, unless you really want to roll with Alec Anderson, but I think you would at least need a backup.
And Bills like to bring him in as the extra guy
Yep.
more often than actually put him at guard anyways.
And Wyatt Teller just got taken off the market this morning. I had him on my list. I had to cross him off. Alex Kappa, a decent option. Liam Eichenberg, a decent option from the Dolphins. And Trevor Penning does have upside. And if I were the Bills, I would love to get another edge rusher. I think Peyton Turner has a lot of upside. Derek Barnett, if you're trying to maybe get a couple years, just a transition guy, or you re-sign the guys on the team. You go and you re-sign Epinesa or you re-sign Joey Bosa. Those guys I think can play some outside linebacker pretty well. That would be my short laundry list of who I think we should go get. Are we probably the Bills? Again, we is like a collective term at this point. Are the Bills really going to get any of them? I severely doubt it. But Okereke, I think they should definitely
that one seems feasible.
All arrows pointing toward, because that we need the inside off-ball linebackers so bad, and we don't have any of them. Milano's a free agent.
And kind of regressing at this point.
Yeah.
He's had some injuries and stuff like that to keep him off the field.
Are we going to roll with Dorian Williams? Are we really going to put in Joe Andreessen? No, it's just not going to happen. I'm sorry. We need a middle linebacker.
Nothing against those guys, but
yes, you need a Mike. You need a guy who can call plays. Who's a vet. Anyway, not the point. Let's move on to the rest of the free agency. That was the Bills talk as much as I can get out of it without getting mad, I guess.
Yeah,
spiraling off. Let's talk about the top signings. Just this morning, Jalen Waddle headed to the Broncos for a first-round pick, a third-round pick, and then a fourth-round pick swap. That is a game changer. They got Cortland Sutton, Jalen Waddle. The defense is really good. Bo Nix is probably going to take that next step next year.
Troy Franklin is a guy who's he's going to have the
Pat
third
Bryant.
Best DB on him. And
yes.
Bo Nix already loves Troy Franklin.
Yes.
They're going to have some open receivers.
So what this tells me is Miami's full rebuild mode.
Oh, man.
And this goes along with their next signing as well. You give up a first-round pick for Jalen Waddle. I think that's fair. The original asking price was 2 first rounds. It somehow got down to a first and a third for the Broncos because I guess they're not worried about him. I think this is a really good fit. It just depends on... this is the team that was the first seed in the AFC.
Yeah.
And they're just getting better. They easily could have been in the Super Bowl if Bo Nix stays healthy. Now, they're a bit more dangerous. I don't like the move as a not Broncos fan, but if I was a Broncos fan, I'd be thrilled. I'd be absolutely thrilled.
Just start jumping for joy, Broncos fans.
Yeah,
you got better.
But the Dolphins do this after signing Malik Willis to a 3-year, $68 million deal, which, first of all, what are your thoughts on Malik Willis to the Dolphins? In reality, is Malik Willis that much better than Tua?
Is he that much better than Tua? I don't think it's going to be hard to be that much better than Tua. Or at least better than Tua.
I think the bar is set very low.
The bar is very low. To be better than Tua, bar is very low, very passable for Malik Willis. He's talented. He earned himself this contract while Tua earned himself, nothing. Is he going to be that much better? That much better kind of adds that stipulation. Like, is he going to be enough to make a difference that Tua couldn't make?
And
with no Jalen Waddle
now,
or Tyreek Hill.
They need a receiver. Before it was Malik Willis, Jalen Waddle, whatever. He's got some weapons. He's got Malik Washington at wide receiver 1. Am I missing someone in there with the Dolphins? I think they had Nick Westbrook-Akine at some point. He's gone now. I honestly don't. How much bare bones can you get on a roster? Because this is very, very bare bones. And I get you're in rebuild mode. The Dolphins, full rebuild mode. But if you're going to do that, don't sign Malik Willis to a $68 million deal for 3 years. I get maybe he's...
How'd they convince...
That's not a transitional... No, you don't pay a transition guy that much money.
And how did they convince him? All right, Malik, come on in. We're going to discuss your contract. We're thinking 3 years, $68 million, and we're going to give you absolutely nothing to work with.
Achane is there. All right, Malik, let's see your form. Can you hand off the ball?
How well can you hand the ball off to Devon Achane?
Yeah, Malik Washington, Jalen Tolbert, and Tutu Atwell.
Tutu Atwell.
I'm a big fan of Tutu Atwell. All right,
that's what's gonna happen.
Don't
It's
even
gonna be a
start here
Tutu
because-
Atwell 1,500-yard receiving season. That's what it's gonna be.
That's all it took. No. This is going to be an RPO offense, fast paced. It's going to be, all right, ready? Can you hand it off to Achane, or are you going to run the opposite direction? And then Malik Washington slant. Got him.
Yeah,
all right, good stuff.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a play on this team that's more than 20, 30 yards very often. I would say this is it's a fun offense. Is it a good offense? Absolutely not. And
No.
honestly, if I was a Devon Achane fantasy owner, I would be very upset because his value definitely just went down because there is no passing attack.
Yeah, at least there was the threat of a passing attack prior. There wasn't much of a passing game going on, but at least there was a threat of it. There's nothing now. Teams can fully scheme up for Achane, and that's about it. I mean, unless Malik Willis just turns into Patrick Mahomes overnight, which I would love that. I'd be happy for him. I'd be like, wow, go Malik Willis, But that's...
I mean, okay, so the Dolphins have 11 picks in next year's draft. 2 of those in the first round, a second round, a third, and wow. That's 4 third-round picks.
4 third-round picks?
4 third-round picks.
That's pretty
87,
good.
90, 94, 87, 90, and 75. I missed 75. So they're definitely going to need some wide receiver help. They're actually going to need everywhere help. The depth chart is not good. There's a lot of names on here that I barely know. And if I barely know you, you are probably not good at football. Anyway.
The problem is just that they have so much dead cap. I mean, guys that literally are not on their football team that they are paying, and it's over $100 million at least in terms of dead cap. That there's ghosts. They're paying ghosts on their team. Schefter tweeted about it today. I want to say it's like somewhere near like 150 million in dead cap. So that's a dead cap. Over 150 mil equals a dead football team for however long you're paying that money.
Somehow, the Dolphins and the Jets, they're 2 places with receiver rooms where I'm like, this could be fun. Is it going to be good? No. I mean, like, Tutu Atwell, high upside. Terrence Marshall, high upside, second-round guy to LSU back in 2021. He's always been a what-if kind of guy. Hasn't really got his chance. Malik Washington, same thing. They drafted him relatively high. I think they have high expectations for him. Not a wide receiver 1, though. And then Jalen Tolbert's kind of always been that guy. It's like, oh, he has a good game every so often, and then he'll drop 0.
Shows some flashes.
Yeah,
sure.
and then Greg Dulcich at tight end. I mean, there's no talent on this offense other than Devon Achane. I mean, okay, talent is subjective, but you know what I'm saying?
No,
like, there's no one 100%. To be scared of. If I was a DB, I'd be like, oh, okay, I just got to tackle Achane, whatever.
Yeah.
But that's enough from the Dolphins. And I mean, I mentioned the Jets because they have like Adonai Mitchell, John Mechie. Like, those guys are fun, high upside. Are they players that a defensive coordinator circles before the game? I just don't think so.
No,
I just don't think so.
Just not.
But another team that is doing a rebuild pretty well. New Orleans Saints. I think that they've made some interesting choices. I mean, we definitely questioned the Tyler Shuck choice. I think I still question it.
A little bit, but they're making it look a little better.
See.
And they're on the opposite end of the spectrum as the Dolphins are right now. They just made it out of cap nightmare situation. So they're finally able to do something with some money.
Yeah, and so they go and sign Travis Etienne or Achane.
Apparently, he just didn't ever correct anybody.
He just dropped that on us. But I'm gonna go with
You could try to say it the way he wants you to say it.
Travis Etienne to the Saints, 4 years, $52 million deal. I think that's a pretty solid price for him. Does that mean Alvin Kamara is done?
Oh man, hey, shout out to Alvin Kamara. Carried some fantasy rosters and a bad Saints team for a while. Didn't quite do it last year.
Yeah.
Kind of looked like, maybe this was getting towards the end of the road for him. Had some injury concerns as well. Yeah, I think it's finally his time to get on out. Yeah. But he had a good time while he was there.
One thing I will say is 4 years, for a running back scares me.
Yeah, it doesn't always.
That's a long time
Yeah.
for a position that has its injury concerns. I mean, we saw Travis have some problems. I'm going to avoid saying his last name. Have some problems kind of a couple years ago or 2 years ago at this point where he was kind of slowing down. 4 years is a lot. I will also say when you're a rebuilding team, is running back really the biggest need for you? I think you could use that money somewhere else, but I'm just playing devil's advocate at this point. I think it's a good signing otherwise.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's just, trying to get someone else in the backfield to take a little bit of pressure off Shuck if they can. I can kind of understand it, but just not to the extent of $50 million.
Yes,
exactly. Which I'm sure you agree with.
Yeah. And then Trey Hendrickson ending up at the Ravens because the Max Crosby deal fell through. Crazy. There's been a lot that's gone on. Haven't had time to talk about it. Max Crosby traded to the Ravens for 2 first-round picks. Fails his physical. They send him back, say they don't want him anymore. They get the picks back, which I don't know. What do you think about that? I feel like that's kind of weird.
It's strange to want to do a trade and agree to do the trade, and then time to go for the trade, and you don't want to do the trade.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. Because everybody knows that Max Crosby's not going to pass his physical right now. He's hurt still. You didn't know that when you traded for him. I don't know. So it's kind of
okay. You give him like 6 weeks, and then you have Max Crosby.
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense to me at that point.
But regardless, I think it's just kind of like they ended up second guessing the trade and maybe the value for Max Crosby and the money involved as well, and just said, you know what, we could just fail his physical and then we don't have to do it. And then
maybe that's what happened.
Pretty much what happened.
That would be pretty scummy, but at the end of the day, yeah, that could be what happened. They end up with Trey Hendrickson, which is, okay, I could see you weighing your options here. Both are very good edge rushers. $112 million for 4 years.
Wow. For an older guy, I mean,
that's
he's already
a lot of money.
31.
Is he really?
No, yeah. Trey Hendrickson's is actually pretty up there. Or maybe he's
31.
31 years old, and he's still got 4 more years to go. Hey, to be fair, if you are an elite defensive lineman, you will be able to kind of adjust with the times. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe by the 3rd or 4th year of that contract, he ends up playing some more DT. But I don't know. It's a lot of money, long contract for a guy who's 31. However, they kind of get the difference maker they need anyways, and they steal him from a division rival. Right. I think that's the big part too.
Max Crosby, man. I mean, 28. No, I would 100% go with Crosby. 31-year-old Trey Hendrickson is good. He had the sack. He was the sack leader 2 years ago.
Yeah.
The Bengals just don't want to pay guys. I would also want him to get out of Cincinnati. He was going to sign with the Colts. Then the Ravens offered him way too much money, went there instead. I still would take Max Crosby over him. Not the point, I guess. Whatever.
I don't think many people would disagree with you on that.
And then one of the big quarterbacks, probably the biggest quarterback off the board, unless you want to count Malik Willis, I guess, but Kyler Murray to the Vikings. A bit of an interesting path for him to go. 1 year, $1.3 million, paired up with Justin Jefferson, paired up with Kevin O'Connell, paired up with, I guess, Aaron Jones in the backfield.
Sure.
Solid O-line. Going to have to compete for his job with J.J. McCarthy. Has a great defense. I actually think this is a pretty good move. And I think this makes Minnesota a playoff team. At least. Far as playoff team.
Let's see what Mr. O'Connell can do with this guy. I see Kyler Murray, I guess he's just been in the NFL longer than everyone thinks, but like he's 28 years old. He's no longer like a young guy you're taking a chance on. I think you kind of you know what you're going to get out of him. 2019
first overall pick.
Yes. I think it's a good move. He likes this team. I mean, if I had just done a little more research and figured out that Kyler Murray was a prolific Vikings fan, as when he was growing up, maybe I would have suggested that he go here. Instead, I said the Jets, but still, whatever. They end up with Geno Smith. Yeah. Should have seen that one coming.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Whatever.
But I think this actually has a decent chance of working out. I think take Kyler Murray off the Cardinals and put him on a reliable offense like the Vikings. It could get interesting. That's all.
He has to do very little to be good. With the Cardinals, he had to do a lot to be good.
And at the price, the price is the biggest part. I mean, he just took
million.
a prove it deal. That's it. So nothing to lose if you're the Vikings. Play the guy, see how he goes.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much almost vet minimum. Cardinals are still going to pay him. It's the same thing with Tua, but I'm not really even going to talk about it. I don't think the Tua signing changes anything for the Falcons. That's also vet minimum 1 year. But let's move on to our personal top signings, who we think is going to make the biggest impact. Maybe not the biggest headline right now, but one of those that went under the radar that could really, really change a team. And honestly, we talked about him earlier, so I won't spend too much time on it. But Devin Lloyd to the Panthers, that is a great move. He was playing at a Defensive Player of the Year level last year at the beginning of the year before he got kind of banged up, kind of hurt, or was he hurt? I actually can't remember at this point, but 3-year deal, $45 million. That is not bad at all. And you got one of the premier linebackers in the league.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. The Panthers are actually doing a great job this offseason so far. They're getting a unit together, defensively in particular. But I'm going to have to talk about the fact that Kenneth Walker's going over to the Chiefs.
I couldn't put it in my personal top signings because I didn't want it to happen.
Yeah. But this is your Super Bowl MVP, your home run hitter of a running back, and just don't use him like Isaiah Pacheco, and you have a true difference maker on your team. Give him 18 carries a game, 15 minimum. But hey, as long as they do that, I think this has to be one of your top acquisitions of the offseason.
Oh, that's right. Isaiah Pacheco went to the Lions. That's what I was trying to remember. Okay. I know I just said I didn't put Kenneth Walker to the Chiefs in my light because I didn't like the actual move, but I also don't really like this move just because it makes me sad. Caden Ellis to the Saints is a steal, 3-year, $33 million deal. He is a great linebacker. I wanted the Falcons to retain him so bad, and now we have no linebackers.
He's a good playmaker. When you would force me to watch Falcons games with you, pretty much because you'd have to have one of them on. You'd point out whenever Caden Ellis made a good play, which was fairly often.
Yeah.
Like actually pretty often, where I'd be like, wow, okay, I didn't really know much about this guy, but he's actually doing good stuff out there.
Solid,
So a solid guy for a pretty cheap contract for only 3 years. I think that checks a lot of boxes for these Saints. But for me, I mean, come on. Trent McDuffie to the Rams at the prime age of 26. He is 26 years old.
That sounds
for
right.
a first-round pick. In a time where we see Sauce Gardner traded for 2 first-round picks, how on earth does Trent McDuffie? How is he even allowed to be traded for 1? This guy, I mean, he's elite in the prime of his career, and then. Right after that, pretty sure he already worked out his extension with the Rams, so he's going to be there till age 30 season, I want to say.
Probably.
So Rams, phenomenal job getting this guy, considering how badly you needed those DBs. And that was the one weak point you had, and you addressed it right away. You couldn't have drafted a guy like Trent McDuffie in the first round with your pick if you wanted to, and now you have someone in the prime of his career who's going to make a big difference for you.
I can't tell you how frustrated I am with this move, just because the Rams were literally just a piece or 2 away from being a Super Bowl contender, and corner was one of those pieces. Trent McDuffie is a top 3 corner in the league. Just by stats, you look at any stats, it'll tell you Trent McDuffie, coverage rates, rates at which the ball is thrown toward him, passes defended, pass breakups. Trent McDuffie is top 3, top 5 at least. You trade your lesser first-round pick for him, you could have got 2 first-round picks for him.
That's the big thing, too, is the lesser first-round pick was the one that they traded. It's not even that Falcons one that they acquired.
Yeah, and so they still have the 14th pick or 11th pick, something like that. And now they have Trent McDuffie, who they could not, you mentioned it, they could not draft a guy like Trent McDuffie at the 29th pick.
To think of it, man. I mean, your Falcons could have just traded that pick last year for, essentially could have traded that pick for Trent McDuffie.
Oh, easily. Yeah.
And did nobody know that? No one called up the Chiefs and was like, hey, I know what happened with Snead. Maybe you want to also let McDuffie go,
So I hear, I remember Marcus Peters. I remember L'Jarius Sneed.
Mm-hmm.
This Trent McDuffie guy is getting to the end of his contract.
You want to give him up?
I don't think you want to pay him. Come on. And then they were like, yeah, we'll give him to you for a first-round pick. Okay, yeah, I'll send you 11. No. 30 is good.
Give me 30. What?
Okay. Hang up the phone. You got to walk away and be like, yo, no takesy backsies, bro. It's over. He's ours now. That is a crazy trade. I cannot believe it. But I'll move on with my top sign. I just...
Great job, Rams.
The Rams absolutely killed it. And what are the Chiefs doing? I actually don't know what they're doing. They'd rather sign Travis Kelce to 1-year deal and call it a day. But Wan'Dale Robinson now to the Titans. That's another good pickup for them. 4 years, $70 million is a lot. But he broke out last year. I think that could be a solid safety blanket for Cam Ward.
Yeah, and again, it's almost one of those things where when you see a contract that big for a guy like Wan'Dale Robinson, you know a lot of it is probably incentive based. You know, how well is he actually going to play? How much money is he actually going to earn of it? I think it actually could be a decent amount. You get your quarterback, a wide receiver that's pretty reliable, a guy that can run a lot of short routes and get open, make some plays after the catch. I think it's good.
Probably the premier slot receiver, if not one of them. I mean, it doesn't really get too much better in the slot than Wan'Dale Robinson, I would say, at least last year, based on somewhere around there. I mean, whatever. It's a great pickup. The Titans got new jerseys, they got a new logo, and they got Wan'Dale Robinson. I mean, what else can you say?
Phenomenal. I'm going to hype up the fact that the Raiders signed maybe the premier center in the league, Tyler Linderbaum, which if you're going to build an offensive line, you got to start in the middle and make your way out. I can't think of a better way to start in the middle than Mr. Linderbaum. Again, no one really talks about center, or really any offensive line, but for a team that's going to draft, Mendoza with the first overall pick, most likely, that's the right move to make. And they've made a couple other good ones this offseason as well. Arguably, you could even say keeping Max Crosby is going to end up being a good move, but
the Raiders
we'll
are
see what happens
something
with that.
Right now.
Yeah,
they're building something. They did pay Linderbaum a lot of money,
tons of money,
like almost way too much money. But it's a great move.
And you still got Genty too. So if you want to be able to run the ball, you need someone like that in there. So again, good job, Raiders. Get some help there, and then again, hear me out here. I just want to shine a little light on Kyler Murray to the Vikings. I think good coach, good offensive pieces, that could work as well. He just missed my list, but I didn't want to throw somebody making $1 million on there.
That's fair. Yeah. And then personal worst signings on the other end of the spectrum. I'll start with Jalen Phillips to the Panthers. I think he's a good player, but you don't drop $120 million on him for 4 years. It is the most money spent on any player in free agency so far. I just think it's a crazy overpay for a guy that's shown flashes but hasn't been there yet.
Yeah, and he shows flashes in terms of pressuring the quarterback. He's great pressure rates and all that, but the sack numbers aren't there, and you'd like to pay a guy $120 million if they can reach double-digit sacks. I mean, what do you have, 5 last year? So maybe not the number you want to see. Good player overall, though.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same thing where I'm going with this one. Mike Evans to the Niners for 3 years. 3 years? $60 million? I was anticipating like a 1 year, like
maybe 2 years.
Maybe 2 years, and I could see $18 million a year, but this is going to end up being $20 million a year for 3 seasons for a guy who's you can book it, okay? Weeks 8 to 12 at least, hamstring out.
Yep.
I promise you. Mike Evans, great guy. He might still get to 1,000 yards again this season because he still looked as dominant as ever when he played. But when does the guy play? And he's getting old. We'll see what happens with him.
Yeah, I mean, he's good. He's just coming off a big injury. He kind of slowed down a little bit in the last season. 3 years is way too much. I think he plays maybe 2 of them, then retires, calls it a day. Or he plays all 3. It's like a Von Miller situation where you don't expect him to play all 3, and he does. So
yeah.
My next one, Romeo Doubs to the Patriots for $69 million over 4 years. Romeo Doubs.
Mayo Dobbs.
Really? Like $70 million over 4 years for Romeo Doubs? In what world? That doesn't make sense to me. That's a crazy overpay from the Patriots. They have a lot of cap space, but that is not a receiver 1. That's not your wide receiver 1. But they want him to be. Hey, $70 million on the table. There you go. have fun with it.
He shows some flashes, makes some good plays, but gotta agree. If you're thinking of a number for Romeo Doubs for 4 years, I feel like the first number that's leaving my mouth, it's going to start with a 40 or 50.
And that would have made more sense.
And 70. What?
No.
Just can't do that.
Not going to be your receiver one. He wasn't even the receiver one on his own team. So
no,
not the point.
Now, next for me, not as much just a singular signing, but I think the Bears defensive back room, okay? You get rid of Nashawn Wright, Kevin Byard, Jaquan Brisker, who played well for them last year, and you replace them with Kobe Bryant, okay, solid, and Cam Lewis. I know the offseason isn't done.
He's gone.
But as Bills fans, no shade to Cam Lewis, but man, you were getting burned out there a good amount of the time. To replace 3 solid guys with Cam Lewis and Kobe Bryant, Bears, you better not be finished. It better not even be close to done, because otherwise teams are lighting you up for 30.
Yeah.
And that's week in, week out. Sorry.
It's going to be like a Bengals situation where there's just good offense, terrible defense.
Exactly.
I think the Bears, unless they do have some crazy moves here, I think they take a step back from last season based on what has happened.
I think they're just trying to gun for all of the national TV spots. You know, they love to put those big high-scoring games on there.
Yep.
So they're like, all right, sign us up. Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday.
They like to make the games as close as possible.
Shoot, dude, put the Bears on Friday. Everybody will watch.
Black Friday game. But that will do it for who we thought was the best and worst signings, the biggest signings that happened. And now we've still got some free agents out in the market. We're going to try to maybe guess where they should go.
Yeah.
You know, we're never really right about this kind of thing, but anything can happen. Let's start with Tyreek Hill and even Stephon Diggs just thrown in there. 2 kind of veteran receivers getting to the end of their career. Start with Tyreek. I think he's going to go to the Patriots. That just feels right. I don't know why. It just feels like the move they would make.
I can agree with that.
Or the Chiefs. Sorry, go ahead.
No, a little homecoming, and I know the Chiefs would definitely do that as well. Now, if Tyreek even wants to go here, Mr. Hill, the Browns, I just think it seems like a Browns thing to do to sign a guy with some character issues, stuff like that,
Yes.
off the field issues. I can see him wearing a Browns uniform. I don't know why, but
Police in Cleveland should be on watch if that happened. And even if he goes to New England and then Stephon Diggs re-signs in New England, oh boy, it's over. But I have Stephon Diggs going to the Browns for the same reason, character issues, older guy. They just need somebody there, I guess.
Yeah. I kind of see him going to the Saints. Maybe they try to bring in a more veteran guy who can, run some slot routes, even play on the outside too. He's dynamic, Stephon Diggs, even still at his old age. So, get a little veteran receiver for Mr. Shuck.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. Next up, corner that the Titans kind of unexpectedly dropped, L'Jarius Sneed. We were just talking about Trent McDuffie. Now, Sneed, a free agent. I would love to see him go to the Falcons. I think they need a corner too.
Yeah.
Or a corner 1.5. I'm just saying, if that were to happen, that would be a great move. Anyway, go ahead.
I think I can see that more than the team that I said, just because I think the Falcons desperately need corner at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe the Cowboys make a little move for him. They're never going to stay totally silent all offseason and,
make one move.
Get a little veteran DB in there because they're Swiss cheese right now.
Yeah. Next up, Deebo Samuel. If DJ Moore didn't go to the Bills, I feel like Deebo would be like a shoo-in for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But I have Packers with a question mark because I'm not really sure. Or he just goes back to Washington. He's kind of a weird case. I don't know where he's going to end up. I don't know if he's supposed to be the receiver 1. I don't know if he's supposed to just be a slot
Wherever
guy.
he goes.
I don't know who wants him because I don't know where he wants to play. And that's kind of how I've been feeling about that.
Yeah. I feel like, and whenever we do these kinds of things, I don't ever really say that they stay on the same team. I just like to say where I would like to see them go. And I think the Ravens is a perfect fit. Just get another, just essentially Zay Flowers, but in like 5 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he stays in the Baltimore-ish area.
Yeah, he doesn't have to move too far, He just stay around there.
He doesn't like moving too far. It's because he's that.
Okay.
Last one here. David Njoku, tight end, previously on the Browns. I think I'm just very surprised he hasn't been scooped up yet. Great player. And we have the same team because it makes a lot of sense.
It's really the only team that desperately needs a tight end.
Yes, and honestly, if this were to happen, you shoe in the Denver Broncos for a top 5 offense.
Yes.
With all the moves that they made, they're scary.
Yeah.
At this point, they're just terrifying. Yeah.
Going to the Broncos, I think.
Broncos,
I mean, no other team needs a tight end as much as the Broncos do in terms of, receiving tight end.
Yes.
So I'd say you book it. I think they have to be doing this. They have to be thinking about doing this because then you get check mark next to every skill position on offense and you just say, hey, fear us.
Yeah. All right, Bo, step up or we'll figure something else out because we're in a win now situation. And the Broncos are going to be scary next year, especially if that were to happen. But just in general, I think that they're a team to watch. But nonetheless, that will do it for us. Thank you guys so much for watching or listening to this episode of Field Goals and Forecast, and we will see you all next week. Bye-bye.